Welcome to another week of Just One More Thing, a podcast about knitting and crafting. I'm Janessa, I'm the knitter.
I'm Brooklyn, I'm the crafter.
And we're enjoying
Brownies I made.
Brooklyn made me brownies all by herself.
She didn't have to get up out of her chair to do it. I followed the instructions on the box.
It's a happy day when you don't have to make your kids a snack when they've learned to cook it themselves in the kitchen. And they're pretty good. They're gooey. I like gooey brownies.
Yeah. That's all for mine.
Mm-hmm. Yum. Okay. Well, no, I was going to say a little introduction. Okay. So, normally we are a weekly podcast, but the holidays have kind of got us off schedule. So it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you last. It is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I like to call it Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve. Or I learned that in Norway they call this Little Christmas Eve. And then tomorrow night would be Big Christmas Eve.
Oh.
So maybe Merry Little Christmas Eve.
In Norway.
And maybe the other Scandinavian countries too. I don't know. They celebrate it a little bit different than we celebrate it here in the States. But it is almost Christmas. All of my Christmas knitting is done. All of my planned Christmas knitting is done. I still have, I'll talk about it when I talk about projects. A couple of things that I wanted to knit, but I don't think they're going to get done. So they're just knitting projects. But I'm going to let Brooklyn talk about the things other than the brownies, because we already talked about brownies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that she's been working on after she gets done eating that bite of brownie. Because we don't want to talk with our mouth full.
Okay, I've been drawing on my iPad. This one is, this one is Bruno. His name's hard to see. This one is Bruno. This one is Rachel. This one is Walter. Now I added a background on this. This one is Compass. And I added a little info up here. Like burn eye color and uniform and helmet and badge and collar. Oops. And her badge. Here's Compass. Her job is kind of like Tracker, who is already a member. Here is Granite. She mines through rocks and caves. This one is Commander. I drew him, I think I shown him about a few episodes back, but this is him. I drew him on my iPad. I had to find the paper to help me. This one is Commander in color. This is Leamy. I made the name up. But she's a nice rescue pup. Let's see her. This one is Cassie. She is a chalk artist. This one is Ginger. Sorry about the glare.
You gotta kind of tilt it. Like that.
Oh, okay.
Tilt it.
Here's Ginger. This one is Patches. She is a sparkly pup, as you could probably tell about her uniform pup pack. And then here is my last one. Her name is Libby. I don't know, probably a month ago, I got creative, and I took a picture of it, but I drew a binder cover of Ginger. I freehanded her. Most of my classmates thought that she was traced on like my iPad, but I told them no, I drew it myself. But then one of my classmates said, did you trace that? or drew it. I said, I drew it. And she goes, well, it looks like you traced it. And then again in math, she said, I still think you traced it. I was like, no, I really drew it. So.
And you did. You really drew it.
Yeah.
But all of these, where are they? Like all of these.
There's an app called Doodle Buddy. So I draw them on there.
I'm going to show what Doodle Buddy looks like in case. It's
Okay.
This is one that we have been using for a long time. Oops. Go back. So, oh, there you can see it.
It's
There we
that
go.
one with a scribble and a finger on it.
It's called Doodle Buddy. There's things that you can,
Hey, Claire. That trash bin.
but it's basically you just get a white screen, and then, how do I do like a really dark line?
Hit the chalk. There are different colors.
So just using your finger, you can draw on there, or you can get those little stylus pens and use those. But it's kind of a nice,
Yeah.
just like
And
doodling.
there's stamps and stencils, and
Yeah.
you can type in something in there,
All different kinds of little like emojis and things. So it's a fun app for kids.
and you can. It has settings.
It's
and then,
mostly free. I think there might be some like in-app purchase type things sometimes.
no, it's all
No,
free.
it's all free. It's all free. So, what other things have you been crafting?
Oh, as you might see, I have some new earrings in. I have they're like, red squares,
They're little like red checkerboard.
yeah. And then there's like a gray one in the middle.
They're kind of Christmassy.
I did make some Christmas ones. They're all red and green, but they broke overnight. I didn't realize it. So I will have to remake them and maybe show them next week.
Yeah.
Then I made some, like letter B earrings for myself. They're green. I made a couple, like a pair to my friend, and a couple to, well, a pair to my dance teacher.
Yeah. I just spilled coffee all over myself.
Oh.
I'm kind of messy today. Okay. Is that all you have?
Mhm.
I'm going to let her finish eating her brownie, and I'm going to talk about some finished objects. So I finally finished my mom's sweater vest. Yep, this is the right side. So there it is. Brooklyn, you want to put it on real quick?
Yeah.
So, okay, sit down. Oh, stand up a little bit. Nope. Let me fix this part. So it did not work out, and it doesn't fit her quite the way it would fit my mom because they're a little bit different sized. But I ran out of yarn. I had just enough to sort of finish it. Okay, you can take it off. I was able to sort of finish it, but this part, where this front and the back meet for the shoulder seams, I didn't feel like it was nearly wide enough. So I'm not 100% happy with that. I don't know. There's just some things that I wish I would have changed on it, and if I were to do it again, I would definitely have used the yarn that the pattern called for instead of trying to hack the pattern and use the hand spun that I had. I don't know. I don't know that the pattern and the yarn quite went together all that well. While Mom was visiting, she mostly had tried it on. Like, all I really had to finish was these like last 5 rows or so right here. So, I mean, she was happy with it, and I told her if she doesn't like it once I mail it to her, she can totally send it back. But it is done. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know that it's gonna fit well, and I don't know, maybe it would have been better off in a different pattern or something. I don't know, but it's finished. Technically, it's finished before Christmas, even though she's not gonna have it before Christmas. She also, and the reason I haven't sent it yet, I feel like I'm constantly off camera. The reason that I haven't sent it yet is that she asked me also for a hat. She wanted a messy bun hat, so I obliged. She wanted one that was in brown or black. I came up with, I held 3 strands of fingering. It was the Knit Pick Stroll together. 2 of the strands were in that very light caramel brown. And then 1 strand was that really dark brown, which is bison. So when you hold it back when you're standing away from it, it kind of looks, it has that kind of marled look to it, but it could, I feel, go either with black or brown pretty easily. I couldn't get my hair up through I don't have the right kind of hairstyle to do, but it is a messy bun. Like, let's pretend that's my sad little messy bun right there. But yeah, it kind of comes down over the ears. It's a tight fitting beanie, and then there's a hole in the top. There, we'll put this one back on. It looks better. So it's a tight fitting beanie, and there's the hole in the top for the hair to come through. I cast off around an elastic, so that part is pretty stretchy. I just did like a crochet cast off around the top. I'm going to be putting this up as a free pattern on my Ravelry store. And it's going to be kind of like a hat 3 ways. I'm really not sure what I'm going to call it yet. But basically I've written it up so that it can be a headband. It can be a messy bun hat. It could be a full-on beanie with like a pom-pom on it. And then it will also have directions to turn it into a cowl. So you can have a whole wintry set. It's a pretty simple stitch pattern, which is why I'm making it a free one, because I'm pretty sure that there are similar type patterns out there to this. I mean, it's just a really simple knit purl kind of slip stitch combo. So that hat is my other, those are my 3 finished. Oh, I didn't show the other thing that I finished. I've only showed you 2 finished objects.
How much do you have left?
Oh, I have so much. We're gonna be here forever.
No, I mean, like, I'm not trying to rush you making a new one.
This one's a mostly, you might be able to show it by the time I'm done talking.
Okay.
So, this is a mostly finished object. Franny the sheep is done. I've been showing some progress pics on Instagram. I say she's mostly done because I don't have the back finished yet. And to finish the back, really all I have to see, I've glued down the burlap to the frame, and all I have to do is put like a piece of like a scrapbook paper, and I just glue a piece of scrapbook paper to the back so that like all the ends are protected, even though they're all kind of woven in there in the back. They just stay a little more protected. But yay, I am mostly happy with Franny the sheep as well. She didn't go quite as planned. So my original plan was to have this cute little sheep face, and then have like all of this be wool. So it was like a big fat sheet with like all you could see was the face, and have all the wool be this like crazy roving. And I was gonna rug hook it. That didn't look right. It wasn't looking the way I wanted it to. And up here next to the wood, I couldn't get close enough to where like there was a weird border around, and I just didn't like that. Also, when I was rug hooking, like the ears and around like this little tongue and some of the face features were totally obscured. I'm gonna excuse me. Excuse me. Sneezies. You couldn't see them, like they were totally obscured. So I tore all that out. I hadn't gone very far, like I just pretty much framed the face. And I decided I didn't like the look of that it wasn't going to turn out the way I wanted it to. So I ripped it out, and I decided I would take the roving and just kind of embroider it into the hoop around using backstitch, just simple backstitch. And I was liking the look of it. I was really enjoying the look of it until about here, until about that 4th or 5th row. And then I was like, I don't know if this is going to be what, I don't know that it's going to look the way I want it to look either. Like, it looks cute. The look of it was right, but it didn't look like the fleece. It didn't look like part of the sheep at all. And so, and that's, I guess, right here is where I decided, you can kind of see that row right there where I decided, yeah, I don't know. I still wanted all of like the crazy colored fleece, so I kept going with that, but I decided not to take it right up to the face. I decided to leave this part that Brooklyn had drawn as the sheep. I decided to leave it blank. So I finished the background, and then I grabbed the same yarn that I used on the face, and I filled in this body. It's just French knots. Lots of French knots. And then because it was having the same problem, like the French knots were going to obscure the tongue and stuff. So from about here around here, I did a smaller French knot than on the rest of it, so that it would pop a little bit more so you could see it. Because I think on Instagram, and based on my own personal opinion, the tongue kind of made that's what made the whole piece of art cute. Like, if you couldn't see the tongue, there really wasn't a point. So, Franny, the fancy sheep, or the funky sheep, she turned out a little more psychedelic than funky. But she's done. And she'll be hanging on the wall next to the chicken. And
Next to Beyonce.
Next to Beyonce the chicken. And I don't know, maybe we'll do a goat next. Or
Cow.
Or a cow. Emerson says we need a cat. So I don't know what we'll do next, but the wall of fun fiber friends will continue. I'm kind of getting into the whole embroidery thing, so I don't know, maybe an actual embroidery piece. I'm sitting on a stool and she's sitting on a chair, and I look so short next to you right now. I need some pillows to stack me up. I'm not done yet.
Oh.
I'm not done yet. Okay, so that was the sheep. Work in progress. I told you I was working on the hats for the kids. Emerson requested a red hat. So I'm using that same hat pattern I used for my mom. This time I'm only using 2 strands of stroll fingering. And you want to come here, buddy, and try it on? Yeah. Yeah? Let's see if it's going to fit. It might be too small. Oh, it's going to be too small, I think.
No.
No? Put your head up. I think it's going to be too small. Put your head in there. What do you think? I think it's too tight.
No.
No? Okay. Do you want to say something? Merry Christmas?
I can't finish it. Merry Christmas.
Okay. Off you go. Outro. Okay, so that is all we have for you. If we don't see you before the new year, have a wonderful and happy, safe new year. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will see you again soon.